Be proud of the car that you have. Alright team, I'm not gonna lie, today I want to talk about the mileage on this car. Currently we're sitting at about 75,000 miles on this car. My last one had about 180, so like I would say that's pretty low, but it is that middle mileage where like, you know, things start to kind of, you start to see a little bit of age, okay? You start to see a little bit of age. So let's go through some of the things that this car has at 75,000 miles. So one of the first things I do want to talk about, because this is a Daytona, so it came with the black top package and the rear decal. First thing I want to say is I got all of this redone, so it technically looks new, but I'm not gonna lie to you, when I got the car, this wrap was all cracked and dirty and ugly and fucked up. First, at this mileage, let's talk about the paint, okay? The paint is surprisingly very, very good still on this car at 75K. Obviously, I do have minor imperfections in the paint, low swirls, but since it's gray, you really do not notice nearly as much as you would on like a black car. And like this thing's super fucking dirty right now, so like there is a bunch of like dead bugs and shit all over the place. But like even on the bumper, as far as like rock chips and whatnot, like it's really not that bad, you know what I mean? I do have one very small situation here, which was actually my fault. So during the winter, I took a shovel to try to shovel I didn't want to put a brush on the paint, so I took a shovel and trying to get the fucking snow off the windshield. And the snow was very heavy, and I caught the corner of the shovel on the fender, and I scratched it. That may have been some dumbassery on my part, and we're gonna get into some more dumbassery on my part. Something I did not know. I never had satin wheels before. If you know Hellcats and Daytonas and whatnot, they come with satin wheels. I never had satin wheels before. So what I did was I used Walmart tire cleaner on these wheels when I first got it, because they sold the car to me with a bunch of like caked up brake dust all over. So I wanted to kind of break that up and get it off. What I didn't know was, even if it says non-acid, really strong abrasive wheel cleaners will tear your satin wheels the fuck up. And I pretty much like etched these shits, like fucked them completely. But prior to that, I mean, this thing was woman owned before me, so you know, we had curb rash and whatnot. But all in all, the wheels are really in pretty good shape, you know what I mean? Like, besides, you know, the etching and the previous lady's curb rash. The wheels are dirty right now, so it doesn't look that bad, but like you can see all that etching and shit. Like, that's not dirt. That actually like is not coming off. I need to get these shits refinished. Also, I will say, while the Brimbos do last long, because I don't think these bitches have ever been fucking changed in 70,000 miles, so that's a good thing, right? 70,000 miles, haven't had to put brakes on it. I will say the little Brembo sticker is starting to fade, and I don't like that with the big ass 6-piston caliper. But like, I'm not gonna lie, these 6-piston Brembos damn near last forever. And I say that because like I've had the car for a while and I've driven it pretty hard, and the thing really doesn't need brakes. I think the rotors are starting to get they're starting to get there, but it doesn't really need brakes that bad. For 75K, I don't think ever having a brake job. Maybe it did, but it wasn't on the Carfax, so I don't think it did. Another very minor thing that I've noticed on this car, it has heated mirrors. The mirror like kind of burns a bit like in the corner. I don't know. Like, I got the car like that. The mirror was kind of like, I don't know if you guys can pick that up on the camera, but the mirror was like pretty burned. I always thought that was kind of weird. I want to talk about the engine as well. These 6.2s are pretty known for being like relatively reliable, you know what I mean? The motor sounds pretty good. I mean, it's not fucking ticking or anything like that. Obviously, it's bone stock. It's a little dirty, but like, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. My 5.7, the injectors and whatnot were pretty loud on this, but like this motor sounds pretty healthy, pretty good for 75K. I mean, I take care of it. It was taken care of before me as far as oil changes and whatnot, fluid flushes. I do think I have a tiny coolant leak, I'm not gonna lie, but it's not leaking and it cools down properly, so I'm not too worried about it at this moment. That might be the next owner's problem, respectfully. Also, comment down below, do y'all be spamming washer fluid like me? Because I promise you, I be spamming this shit. I just took it to the dealer for an oil change, and like I was completely low, and they charged me like $5 for washer fluid because the shit's always low. And before we get to the inside of the car, there's one more thing I want to mention. Headlight condensation. I see it on a lot of Chargers, Hellcats, V6s, any Chargers. The condensation that gets in the headlight, typically the passenger side, is fucking annoying, okay? So this headlight right here, if it's cold, if it rains, if it's wet, anything, it will get condensation in the headlight. This headlight will basically fog up. I have a way that I typically fix it. I'll pull the little cover off the back of the headlight and basically just kind of let it rock at that point. But like, that's just something to note that does happen. Probably doesn't happen when they're new, but it is a very known issue on Chargers just in general. But this one has that problem, so we're gonna put it in the video. I guess a slight side note is, regardless of mileage, whatever car you have, be proud of the car that you have. Even I know sometimes, especially with these nicer cars, we kind of get lost in the sauce sometimes. The car scene be hating on each other, but even outside of that, right? Just be proud of your car, be proud of your build of your car, be proud of your build and whatnot, and just remember to have fun with it. You bought the car because you liked it. Mileage and fucking condition and all that shit doesn't matter as long as you love the car. I just wanted to make sure that you guys can get that through the middle of the review. You know what I mean? Okay, now that we've made it to the interior, you can see we're at, goddamn, my mic done hit the shit. We're at 762 miles, okay? So a little bit of miles on her. I will say there is like minor cosmetic wear that I did notice when I bought the car. Way more cosmetic, like interior wear than outside. But like this part of the steering wheel was worn as fuck when I got the car, which was like, damn, somebody loved to drive like this, full fucking grip, shorty. But like, you know, not that big of a deal. I did think about swapping the steering wheel in this car, so let me know in the comments if you guys want to see that video. Obviously I added some paddle shifter extenders, but like everything in here still works pretty good. Besides, I do have a weird issue with my fucking navigation to where it just says, like my nav, like my in-car nav, just says I'm fucking in the middle of like Pennsylvania or something, like in the middle of nowhere. It does not show the right location. I'm in Rochester, as you see from Apple CarPlay, and my navigation for some reason says that I'm somewhere completely different. Now, I think that I know why it does that. It's starting to rain too. I think that it has something to do with my, goddamn. I think that it has something to do with this fin up here from when the roof got rewrapped. Something might have happened with that fin. I don't know how to pull that shit off myself. And honestly, it doesn't bother me too much to really get into it. But that is another like small issue that I have with this car. But everything else in here works. I mean, Super Track Pack works, obviously, launch control. I need to learn how to use launch control a little more often because I did just get the fuck gapped out of me by a Turbo S the other day off the line. Another small cosmetic thing is like on this passenger side door, you can see that lip is like raised a little bit. I'm gonna show you from that side. So getting fully on this side, I did buy the car like this again. The little like, the door panel was like peeling the fuck up. I feel like this car didn't have tint on it before and it like got cooked because like my roof looked sun-baked when I got the car. So I'm thinking that this is from like the heat and shit and it peeling. Could not be, but I think that's what it's from. And then obviously I have the interior door lighting, so it kind of made it a bitch because I can low-key like put my fingers in here. So like that's kind of not good. But like once again, small little interior defect. Not really too worried about it, but it is something that I wanted to include in the video because that right there was a little annoying. I can replace a door panel, but since it's a Daytona, it does have like all the gold stitching and shit. So like I would have to find another Daytona with gold stitching, which would be kind of hard to find if I don't want to pay an arm and a leg for one door panel, you know what I mean? So I won't lie, now that I did talk about like a little bit of the defects at this mileage, I do want to talk about the good parts because at this mileage, this car is still very, very solid for what it is, bro. I mean, it's a Daytona, so this thing had like, I had high expectations for this car anyway, and it definitely delivers. All right, I will also say, as far as the driving experience, as you know, with my last Charger, I had to do a lot of suspension work. The suspension on this car, since it's a Daytona and just it's newer, the suspension is so much tighter. And also, electric steering is really the fucking move, bro. I'm sorry. Like, I know people love power steering for some reason. I do not care for power steering at all. Like, I do not care about power steering. I love the electric steering, and I wouldn't fucking trade it for anything. But this car, even at 70,000, obviously you don't expect it to be no slouch, right? It'll still pull pretty fucking hard, even though it is raining, right? that's not really my concern. My concern really was with the suspension at the mileage, right? Just making sure somebody didn't dog the fuck out of it and hit every New York State pothole possible. Also, I don't know if I mentioned earlier in the video, I bought this car with 61,000 miles and it currently has 75, so I've put a little over 10K miles on this car. I'm bad at math, so I don't know the exact math. Somebody let me know in the comments. But like, putting that kind of mileage on the car, I literally have not had to do anything. I drove it all winter too, and like, it still really doesn't have any problems. Haven't had, like, honestly, I can't say anything else bad about it besides the minor, like, cosmetic defects, because I really have not had a problem with this car. Like, for 75,000 miles owning this car, it is most definitely very worth. I feel like I won't even have, like, any sort of, like, real issue until, like, 90,000, to be real with you guys. Like, I just don't foresee myself having any real, like, grievances with this car. Obviously, it's a fucking big engine rear-wheel drive V8, so like the traction's kind of shit. Driving it in winter, the traction was definitely shit. But like, I have no real grievances with this shit, bro. Like, it's solid all around, bro. Like, I know some people kind of look at like that 75K range as like high miles, which like, I guess you could consider it high miles. I personally, like, I believe it up to perspective and maintenance. Like, 75K, most cars are meant to run to 200,000 plus, so it's like, I still feel like 75K is pretty low. For what I paid for the car at 60K, I probably overpaid quite a bit. Well, I definitely did, but like, Daytona, I was gonna pay that fucking, the Scat Pack tax, even though it's not a Scat Pack.
Be respectful.
Be respectful. Something I also kind of forgot to mention as well is, like, since this is a Daytona, it is fully loaded. All the features still work, which is really nice. My last Charger, there were two things that, like, kind of annoyed the fuck out of me that didn't, like, fully work all the time, which was the adaptive cruise control wouldn't let me use it for extended periods amount of time. The adaptive cruise control wouldn't let me use it for extended periods of time. It would be like clean the sensor after oh so many miles. And the rear heated seats did not work at all when I bought the car, which they do work on this one. Which this, by the way, is like the first Charger that I like test drove or went and looked at that the rear heated seats did work. Because for some reason, like every Charger that I went and looked at with rear heated seats, them shits did not work, bro. And I don't know like what it was, but I was very surprised that I found this one and that the rear heated seats worked. It was just very surprising to me because like them shit seems to just never fucking work. I think it has something to do with the heated steering wheel, which also still works. Oh, that was another thing in my last Charger that didn't work, the heated steering wheel, which this one obviously does work because I use it like every time I get in the fucking car. Now I feel like to some degree there may be some bias, but I can also say this car rides really well. I say there might be bias because honestly, like, I've only really driven Chargers. Like, I've only ever owned Chargers. Let me say that. Like, I owned a Charger before this, and this is my second Charger. So, like, it rides better than my last one, but, like, I'm not comparing it to other cars. So don't get in the comments talking about my BMW rides better. I bet it does. But, like, you know, it rides pretty good for 75,000 miles. You know what I mean? And, you know, my brakes are bigger than your BMW, fuck nigga. Ah! But I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that this is still solid at 75,000 miles, 70,000 miles? Or do you think you would pass and maybe go a little bit lower mileage or anything like that? For the issues I showed you, I feel like I would still purchase this car for the price and for everything that you get. You're really not getting like too fucked as far as like that kind of mileage, right? You're still gonna pay a little bit of a premium on it at that mileage because they're still like desirable here, but for some people it would be a lot of miles. But definitely let me know in the comments what you think. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's been your boy Neptune, and I'll catch you in the next one.